Yes! What is up, everybody? It's time to react to my Euro 2024 round of 16 predictions, but I'm not going to do it by myself. I'm bringing Sully back!
Woo! Let's go, baby.
And Sully's wearing his Australia gear.
With Galaxy.
And your Galaxy hat.
I like soccer.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! All right, so let's get into the round of 16 predictions, okay? It was Spain versus Georgia, and I had Spain. You had Spain.
I had Spain.
We all had Spain.
Yep, next.
Next, let's move to the next one. Germany versus Denmark. I had Germany even though I'm Danish, and so that was a hard one. And it was hard to watch because the referees absolutely screwed the Danes. Can I just state that for the record? Absolutely screwed over my Danes.
Handball.
I mean, it wasn't off, it's his toenail was offside.
Toenail offside.
Then the handball rule is a joke and needs to be rectified and changed. What is he supposed to do with his hand?
As Alexi Wallace says, though, you're only a little bit pregnant. You can't be a little bit pregnant, excuse me. Thoughts on the toenail?
No, I get it. Okay, so they ruled it correctly based on how the rule is currently written. I just want the rules to be rewritten. This is stupid.
So you should have like a leeway?
I just feel like the toenail it's not creating an advantage.
Right.
Where's the advantage there with the toenail?
We like goals.
We like goals, even though as a former defender, it was my job not to like goals unless I score them against Mexico. I'm just kidding, we can save that. Okay, so I had Germany going through and Spain, so we're feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Yes,
High five.
High five.
God. And then Portugal took on Slovenia, and I did not have Ronaldo crying on my bingo card.
No.
But he cried. Can we just talk about it really quick? Why is he crying in the middle of a game? Can he not cry afterwards? Like if they got knocked out, it was his last major tournament, totally get why he'd cry. The game was still going on. Yes, he missed the penalty, he missed the opportunity to be the hero. He loves being the hero. We all love being the hero. Like, I get it, I get all that. But you can't cry in the middle of a game. Like, keep that together.
As the great movie Remember the Titans says, action reflects leadership.
He made it about him in that moment.
Right.
And he's captain. He should know better. He's 39 years old. And then France, Belgium. And yeah, it was boring. Why can't France score an open play? Why can't they score an open play? They've scored 3 goals this tournament. 1 was a pen and 2 were own goals. Make that make sense.
Yep.
Best players in the world. Can't even score an open play in 4 games.
2 sleepy-ish teams walking into the quarterfinals there between Portugal and France.
Especially given how Portugal played in the Georgia game and then how they played against Slovenia. But prior to that, they were cooking with gas.
Yep, that's why I lean Portugal.
But France hasn't played their best game yet.
They haven't, but a lot of times, as we say, it's 2 different tournaments. Like, you keep saying that and then they're out.
Are you going to do the preview with me too? Or are you just gonna...
Sorry. I don't want to steal all your smoke.
Okay, let's go to the other side of the bracket. The Netherlands absolutely decimated Romania. I feel like Romania got done hard. They won their group and they drew Netherlands as the 3rd place team.
Yep.
Netherlands played their best game of the tournament. Very good on both sides of the ball. They responded to some Dutch legends taking shots at the team.
And their captain.
And their captain, Virgil van Dijk, said we got to find a way to win. We don't have the will to win. And I actually thought they made enough plays to do that. I actually questioned the will to win. Because they were down a goal in the first game to Poland, and they came back and won 2-1. That sounds like will to win to me. Then they had a 0-0 draw against France. Whatever. That France game was very boring, similar to France and the Belgium. Why is France so boring right now? That's a sidebar. We can talk about that later. But then they play Austria in the last group stage game. They're down 1-0, come back and make it 1-1. They're down 2-1, and they make it 2-2. I think it's just they didn't see that game out. So it's more about game management than a will to win. I thought they demonstrated that, and then they showed it against Romania.
It might have been a little too harsh, but hey, he knows what his team needs to hear. And
they responded. Yep. So Netherlands got that one. Turkey, baby, doing the business.
My poor Austrians.
What happened to Austria?
I don't know, man.
Ralf Rangnick, they win their group over Netherlands and France. Everybody's like, oh, Ralf Rangnick's the man. He's the best. He's going to lead them to the promised land. He's going to get them the farthest they've ever been. Blah, 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 blah. And then they throw up a stinker and give up 2 set pieces and don't concentrate. When it's about plays, like, listen, we've talked about it before, so I'm going to bring you into this right now.
Yep.
Set pieces are not about talent. It's about a desire to make a play, and Austria didn't make those plays when they needed to. Plus, the goalkeeper for Turkey made some hell of a saves.
Hell of a save.
Crazy
One at
saves.
the end. I mean,
Mert. Shout out to Mert. That he puts his first name on the back of his jersey.
Rain was coming down.
Mert.
Austria chances were coming down like the rain.
Mert.
At the end of that game, Mert stood on his head. Good on you. I had Austria into the final, so
yeah, you're not allowed to be part of the preview then. You're out. Okay, so I missed that one. I had Austria going through. I just thought they had done enough, and they looked pretty good. England's Needed a Jude Bellingham wonder goal to then get some confidence and have Harry Kane score a few minutes later to make that 2-1 and to turn that around against Slovakia. Lucky asses. Lucky arses, I should say.
You really hate to see it.
But they're
The
through.
world was clapping, saying they're out.
One more step closer to bringing it home.
Yep.
But they're taking on a Swiss team that was excellent against Italy.
I love them.
Chef's kiss. They were so good.
My boys.
That's kind of how Austria had played in the group stages, how
Yep.
Swiss have been playing throughout the whole tournament.
That was my semifinal.
You had Austria in the semifinal?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is bold.
So hopefully the Swiss me's come through for me. Not that I need to take this pot over, but anyway, I'm going to. Chalky on the right side, left side
It's
of
a
the
YouTube
bracket.
video anyway, not a pod. But
Yeah,
it's fine.
YouTube
It's fine.
video.
It's fine.
Whatever. Heavy. Now you got me off. Dark horses on the left, upsets on the right. We've been begging for upsets. I think it's going to come from that right side of the bracket.
Okay, you just want to do the preview with me? Just whip through this really quick?
No.
You don't? You just want to do react?
Let's just react.
Well, then we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
Sully, everybody.
That was good.
That was cool. We should try to do that. I'm going to be honest with everybody with regard to this preview. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. The last one was so long, and I was just rambling at that point. Now, I feel like I'm pretty good at rambling, as I'm doing right now. I've been on camera for 18 straight days. It's a lot. First game up, Spain versus Germany. Now, what's interesting about this game is that Spain, for me, is the hottest team in this tournament. They look so good on both sides of the ball. Real purpose and identity in how they play. You try to take away the wings. Let's say you want to try to slow down Lamine Yamal or Nico Williams. They're going to hurt you down the middle. Rodri's going to step up and score like he did in the last game. Pedri can hurt you in that space. Fabian Ruiz can slice through you like he did against Croatia. They can bring other people off the bench. They can hit crosses in. They can hit you on set pieces. Like, I just don't see any weakness in the Spain team. But then you have Germany, who are the hosts, who also have some incredible players, some incredible young players. And what's interesting is that these two teams played against each other in the 2022 World Cup group stages. It was 1-1. And Spain actually was in charge. Alvaro Morata scored 60th minute, if I am not mistaken. And then Nicolas Füllkrug scored in the 83rd minute to make it 1-1. Spain went on. They were both on 4 points. Spain went on with a better goal difference, and Germany went home. And I look back on who played in that game. And for Spain, you have Unai Simon in goal, same. Jordi Alba was playing, that's crazy, he had an assist in that one. Laporte, Rodri was playing center back, Carvajal. So you got three of those players that are still on the team. Pedri started. Busquets was still playing. Gabi was in the team, though he's still hurt. Dani Olmo was up top. Asensio was up top, and Ferran Torres was up top. How times have changed. It's only been a year and a half since that tournament, and now they have a much different lineup, and I feel like, not much different. I mean, obviously there's 4 or 5 players that are still involved, but it just feels different. They feel more dangerous. Every time they get the ball and go forward, always a threat. So I have a lot of respect for this Spain team. I almost called them Germany and Spain together. What an idiot. And then with Germany, they had Hansi Flick was in charge of them at the time, and Luis Enrique was in charge of Spain, just to throw that out there. Manuel Neuer was in goal, similar. Kerr was at right back. Sula, Rudiger, and Rom were the back four. Only one will remain from that with Rudiger. Well, Kimmich was in the team with Goretzka in midfield and Gundogan in front of them. And then Gnabry, Musiala, and Thomas Muller up top. Again, you only have a couple players from that team. This German team feels different. They have a different vibe about them. Kai Havertz is obviously spearheading the top. This is going to be a really good game. There's so many great matchups, and really I like the midfield. You got Toni Kroos, you got Andrich from Bayer Leverkusen, and you have Gundogan taking on Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Pedri. Yes, and please. And then you have Joshua Kimmich going up against Nico Williams. Who's going to win that battle? That's just one of many battles. This is going to be a great game. Ultimately, as much as I appreciate Germany and them being the hosts and them having a much better team and looking a little bit more bright and purposeful under Julian Nagelsmann, this Spain team is a different gravy, so I like Spain going through. So as Sully and I talked about briefly about Portugal and France in this next matchup, again, super tantalizing. The fact that these 4 teams, Spain, Germany, Portugal, and France, are all on the same side of the bracket is awesome and mind-blowing at the same time. Portugal, I just think they lost their way a little bit after sitting a lot of their players against Georgia. They made 8 changes that starting 11. So you had guys that didn't play for 9 days from match day 2 to the round of 16 matchup. And I just felt like they lacked a little bit of sharpness that comes from playing every 3, 4, 5 days. And I hope that they regain that. I think Portugal's going to be tough. Again, another team that's just talented in all areas of the field. But so is France. And I disagree with where Sully was going. I think he could, if he was going to do the preview, I got the sense he was going to push towards Portugal doing something here. I don't know. I mean, Diogo Costa, what a beast in penalties, right? And what a beast on that one-on-one save that he did against Šeško, which Slovenia could have stolen that game against Portugal. France is going to show up at some point. I think Portugal's already played some good games in this tournament, and obviously in qualifying as well. But France, for me, they need a number 9. They need a number 9 that plays as a number 9. And right now, I feel like they're trying to stopgap that a little bit. Just put Giroud in, baby. We know that it'll work. Deschamps, make it happen. You have Griezmann up there, or you're going with, well, Dembele didn't play in the last game, but you have Mbappe, and it just feels a little bit, it's not as fluid as it could be. I think that's where I'm trying to go. And so ultimately what I'm saying is, we can get into the nuts and bolts of it and get into the matchups, which I would love to do, but we're all familiar with these players, and very similar to Spain versus Germany, there are going to be so many good one-on-one battles here. But when you think about, if Joao Cancelo, who I don't rate as a defender, very good going forward, but if he's the one that's stationed on that right side that's going to be going up against Kylian Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe is going to eat him up at some point, right? I know he doesn't like the mask, and he's got to figure that out, and blah, blah, blah. Pepe, who's playing at 41 years old, he looked a little tired again at the end of that Slovenia game. And that's another thing, too. They played an extra 30 minutes. They actually played. And I just think they're going to be a little bit tired, ultimately. I'm saying all this because I think France is going to book their ticket. And it's going to be France and Spain in the semifinal. All right, now let's talk about the other side of the bracket. We'll go with Netherlands versus Turkey. Netherlands got to be feeling pretty fortunate that they're not running into the big boys, the heavyweights on the other side, at least not yet. At some point they're going to run into them. Could be in the final, could be in the semifinal. If England, who on paper is one of the heavyweights, decides to play to their potential, then we could have a cracking game with some of the biggest international teams in the world. The Dutch, though, put that complete performance together, and I was really impressed with how they played. Cody Gakpo is an absolute beast in international competitions. He's got 6 goals in 9 career games in major events. That's pretty ridiculous. He loves that responsibility, and I think it's working out pretty well for the Dutch. Memphis Depay still being busy, getting around. Xavi Simon's a big fan of him and the space that he's creating. I think that this Dutch team's pretty deep, and if they are disciplined and focused, they're another team that's really hard to beat. And if Turkey, essentially let's say it like this. If Netherlands play to their potential and Turkey plays to their potential, the Dutch are going to win. But there's something about this Turkey team that I love. They got some teenagers in Yildiz and Güler that are very good. They won this past game against Austria without their number 10 and their captain, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. That was really impressive. They had others that stepped up. And Yilmaz up top, who was busy and just being hard to play against. And if Turkey can match that energy and that intensity, which I think will be hard, I think they put a lot into that Austria game, this is where I think the Dutch might have an advantage as well. Not to say they were in cruise control against Romania, but were they really pushed that hard against Romania? I'm not so sure, whereas I think Turkey gave everything they possibly could to win their first knockout round game in the Euro since 2008. So the Dutch haven't actually won a knockout round game in the last 3 Euros, so they're feeling pretty good about things. I just think things are leaning, the momentum's leading with the Dutch. So I have the Netherlands winning, but I do want to say that those sets of fans for both of those countries are next level. If there was any game that I would want to be at for Euro 2024, it would be Hup Holland Hup and those fans, the orange fans versus the Turkish fans. I just think it's going to be incredibly fun. I think the energy is going to be great, and it would be really amazing to be in that stadium with both of those teams. I hope that Turkey can find a way. I think they're going to make it a great game. Obviously, incredibly dangerous on set pieces in particular, so the Dutch are going to have to pay attention to that. But there's just something about that Dutch team, and if they can control the momentum and have more of the ball, which Turkey is okay, they don't mind not having it and feeling comfortable and being uncomfortable. But I just think that the Dutch have a little bit too much. It could come down to goalkeepers though. Who's the hotter goalkeeper? Mert was unbelievable for Turkey. So if he stands on his head once again, then you always have a chance, right? I mean, Jan Oblak gave Slovenia a chance because he saved the penalty from Cristiano and so on and so forth. But ultimately, I'm going with the Dutch, and I don't think there's going to be too much fight from all of you in the comments about that. But let's get to the next one, and that is England versus Switzerland. Now, this one's a little bit more difficult. England falls into that camp where they have not yet played their best game. There are moments where you're like, oh, wow, excellent. There was a sequence there where Phil Foden scored in the second half, against Slovakia. It was just a touch offside, but there was a good interplay there. And it really starts with Harry Kane dropping a little bit deeper into midfield. He can switch the point of attack, and that really unlocks the talent that England has at their disposal. But it makes me wonder, maybe you find a way to get a second striker up there so they can run the channels, they can stretch to the defense, and you allow Harry Kane to drift a little bit in the pockets and figure it out. You might have to sacrifice a top player, but it looks like that Mainu is going to be starting. I think that's a good balance to Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. I still feel like they play too slow. It's really interesting. There was a sequence where I was watching where John Stones takes 5 touches, and then he plays it to Mainu. Mainu takes 1 or 2, he gets it out wide to Saka. Saka takes 4 or 5 touches. And everybody's played enough to know that if you are playing if everybody on the field is taking 3 or 4 touches, there's no rhythm. You can't control any rhythm. And if I'm trying to support somebody, if you have the ball, okay, say you right now at home have the ball, and I think you're gonna play in 1 or 2 touch, the way that I support you in 1 or 2 touch is gonna be a lot different. But if I know you're gonna dick around with the ball and take 3, 4, 5 touches, I don't know how to support that. Or the timing of my support's gonna be off because I'm expecting you to play a little bit quicker. So if England can figure that out and really start to change their speed in terms of thought and the way that they play, then Switzerland can't run with them. But the Swiss, another team that I just think, God, they're so good at playing to their strengths and hiding their vulnerabilities. But they don't have as much talent as the English. So it's just a matter of kind of the hard work and the sheer will of trying to win a game versus the talent and potential that England have at their disposal. And so we're going to see what's going to win out. I'm going to say England's, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Swiss get through. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. I looked at the FIFA rankings, whatever you think of the FIFA rankings, but 5 of the top 10 teams in the world are in the final 8 of Euro 2024, and Germany's ranked 16th, which 16th? The US is ahead of them, Mexico's ahead of them. Make that make sense. But so Germany's 16th. If you think they're a top 10 team, and I feel like they should be in the conversation, then you have 6 of the top 10 teams in Europe playing in the quarterfinals, which means, God, we are feeling pretty good, right? That we're gonna see some great games, and we already have it on the left side. Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, yes, please. And if we get a Netherlands, England semifinal, and you're gonna get whatever combination of those other 4 teams, it's gonna be pretty ridiculous. And I've got plenty of time for that. So you have Spain, they're number 8, Germany 16, Portugal 6, France 2, Netherlands 7, Turkey 42, England 5, Switzerland 19. So it's gonna be great. What do you guys think? Hit me up in the comments below and hit like and subscribe, and you guys know all the stuff that I'm talking about. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you. That's it. I gotta go make another video for Copa America. I'll see you soon. Later.